And at the time, I was publishing my first books. I had published one novel, one small prose book, and one poetry book at the time. Actually, I had published two novels, now that I'm remembering a bit better. And Moonspell was only their sixth album. But they were already very big and important. And me, I have always been a fan of metal. Even when I was in the small village where I was born, I was already listening to metal there. Actually, I feel that I have this aptitude towards metal. It's difficult to explain for me. I have this, it touches my sensitivity, the intensity of metal, like here using this word metal for a huge number of different things,
varieties,
but still. And then there is another aspect that also helped this connection, and regarding Fernando, it's the fact that we are only 9 days apart in terms of age. Fernando is 9 days older than me, so we are the exact same generation. Fernando,
you look more younger, maybe all the time on the road, and too much rock and roll made him a little bit.
But Fernando was growing up in the suburbs of Lisbon, actually in an area that is considered a bit rough, and I was growing up in the rural Portugal, but we, without knowing each other, we were sharing, a lot of bands. For example, Battery, Typo Negative, a lot of bands that Paradise Lost, a lot of bands that were happening at that time, Obituary, and then of course Iron Maiden, etc., etc., etc. And then when we first met, I had already, of course, I was listening to Moonspell since the 90s. He had heard of me and he had read one of my books at the time, and he was actually presenting a poetry book of himself at that time.
He's a poet also.
And I was there, and we met, and we of course had a lot of things in common to talk about. And from there we started, creating a friendship that only a few weeks after we met came up with this idea. What if we did a record and a book that are connected and like kind of entwined? And at the time they had already about, I believe, 4 primitive drafts of 4 tracks that would later be part of that album. And at that period I started being part of their rehearsals, and I started being with them as they were composing that record. I started writing the stories and showing them, and it was something that was a bit back and forth, the stories, the music, and that ended in a moment that was incredibly special for me, when they recorded the record in Finland, in Helsinki, and we shared all kinds of adventures till that 29th of September 2003, when it finally came out. And it was very interesting for us at the time, because of course in the book world there were a lot of prejudices regarding the metal world, and in the metal world there were some prejudices also regarding the book world. And for us at the time, we were very happy to crash a bit of those prejudices, and we did things that were really nice. I remember, for example, doing the first part of the show in which they presented that record in Lisbon, in a very classic showroom there in Lisbon. and it was incredible to do a reading with them performing a certain sound, environment in the back for, I don't know, about 5,000 people were expecting like a metal show. This was all previous to YouTube, so there are no recordings of that except like a bootleg or two. Just that people that recorded with a recorder there in the crowd.
Maybe for the 25th year you can do something like that.
Yeah, maybe.
Like an anniversary album, it would be really, really, really nice.
Last year it was the 20th year. Moonspell did a vinyl, special edition vinyl, and my Portuguese publisher also did a special edition of that book with art cover and all very special. But I mean, still today, it's something that we are very proud of, and hopefully, we have always planned of doing something more, but not yet. Actually,